Hey guys, so I wanted to make a quick video about this cool tech which can be used to generate power charges with the Monk. Since when I started playing Monk, I really fell in love with the Falling Thunder skill. Even though it's kind of annoying to, you know, um, start getting charges and then use the skill. And up to a few days ago, I was still using Siphoning Strike plus Lingering Illusion in order to generate charges, which it's kind of annoying since while you're generating charges, you don't really get any damage, right? I mean, you do some damage while trying to put in shock, right? But then you need to consume the shock and or dodge in order to get more power charges. So you get too much like cooldown time where you don't put any damage. So basically, what Resonance does is you gain power charges instead of Frenzy, Frenzy instead of Endurance, and Endurance charges instead of power charges, right? And the reason why this skill is useful in this context is because of Combat Frenzy, which basically gives you frenzy charge whenever you freeze, electrocute, or pin, right? And you might be thinking that maybe you can use it with electrocute support, and that's cool, right? You can, but the only issue is that you can only support one gem with electrocute, right? So only with that skill you will be getting power charges. So in order to address that, I actually was watching Palstrom video on his crossbow build, and yeah, this item actually catch my eye, and because you can basically freeze using lightning damage, right? Which basically makes that all your skills now can generate power charges by having combat frenzy on. And the cool thing about this is that since Falling Thunder has this quality bonus that has 10% chance to not remove a power charge, and you can also mix this with perpetual charge, you almost get a 50%, like a 50-50 of not losing power charges, which means that 50% of the time, almost 50% of the time, you are not losing but gaining power charges because due to the high damage that Falling Thunder does, you are always pretty much freezing all white and rare monsters with Falling Thunder. Um, yeah, and basically pretty much every other skill also generates power charges, which is honestly amazing because now you can do damage and generate power charges at the same time, similar to what we used to have on Path of Exile 1 with Assassin's Mark, where you could get power charges by doing damage and marking enemies, right? So yeah, honestly, it feels great. Another cool thing about this is that you can mix this with one with the storm. So any skill, I mean, any quarterstaff skill, in this case, Falling Thunder, that consumes a power charge, will count as consuming an additional one. So say, for example, if you lose the bet and a Falling Thunder actually removes your power charges, you still gain one power charge, right? And if you add Profusion, you can gain up to two. And honestly, throwing Falling Thunder, even with two power charges, it feels pretty good, right? And so you can throw it one time and then one time again. The only constraint is that if you throw it more than two times before these 2 seconds have elapsed, then you might actually end up without any power charges because you won't get any from Combat Frenzy. So I think that's the only caveat, right? So up to this point, the build felt great. While mapping, like you have plenty of mobs to freeze, right? And Falling Thunder is honestly more than enough to kill rare mobs in one or two shots, right? So I mean, at this point where I'm still at tier 7, 6 maps, right? The first I guess, issue that I found was when I reached to a boss. And honestly, since you don't freeze the boss as much and you don't have so many ads that you can stack power charges, the damage started feeling like pretty lackluster. And the way I fixed this issue was basically taking the original idea I had to generate power charges using Sniper's Mark, and then I put that onto custom crit, right? And I actually started stacking crit a while back, right? I got myself this quarterstaff, which I think it cost me like 5 exalts or between 5 to 10 exalts. I got it a few days ago. And then I started stacking crit by taking, these clusters and also this cluster that reduces your damage. But then I also took this one, which increases your damage bonus and then it reduces the critical chance, along with other things, right? So that way, I have a pretty high critical chance right now. If you see, it's about 50%, right? So I put the Sniper's Mark into custom critical, along with these two other supports, just to generate or get back some energy after it is cast, right? So that way it is cast more frequently. Even when you're killing ads, right, or killing like white mobs or blue mobs, if they don't die instantly, they usually get a mark, which also helps a lot with the power charge generation. So here I have an example on how this works. If you look at the top of the head of the boss, you will see that sometimes the mark goes on, and it goes pretty much away immediately, right? But then I get some power charges back, and it helps me, keep using Falling Thunder during the fight. So in order to demonstrate how this goes, I'm currently on a tier 5 just up map. And well, basically I usually start with Storm Wave in order to generate a few power charges. And then I use Charge Staff, which now can also generate power charges. And yeah, then I usually start just throwing Falling Thunder. And each time you throw Falling Thunder, you actually get between 1 to 2 power charges. And if you get to preserve your power charges, you actually gain more, right? Because of perpetual charge and the quality of the gem, right? So there are some times where you actually get to keep your power charges instead of spending them, and since you freeze more enemies, you actually gain charges after throwing Falling Thunder, like that. Right? Now I got lucky and I got 8, right? So yeah, it feels kind of amazing. One thing, right now the damage is kind of lackluster because I'm using acceleration. Because I was just testing how far the projectiles can go, since the second component of Falling Thunder are actually projectiles. And I was also using Ricochet since I was playing Crypt. That way, with Ricochet, the projectiles have a little chance to actually bounce into some walls and hit around the corner, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'd say the idea is still rough around the edges. I'm still checking what support skills use in the rest of my skills and maybe take some of them out of the build because, yeah, for example, right now I'm just using Gathering Storm for the heck of it, right? And well, the cool thing about this is that you can actually choke now because the choking ground still chokes the bosses, right? So you can get some extra damage over there. But yeah, I'm still fiddling around and see what I can do. And yeah, if you have any ideas or feedback to improve my build, feel free to leave them on the comments. And thanks for watching. Bye.